A pleasant day to each and everyone, especially to you, ma'am. I'm John Kenneth Diaz, and together with my partner Jerica Okug, we will be going to discuss aquaculture. So before we start our discussion, let me present to you first our objectives. So our objectives is to define aquaculture, to identify the types and forms of aquaculture, and to appreciate the importance and benefits of aquaculture. So what is aquaculture? Aquaculture is the fastest growing segment of agriculture. It is a kind of agriculture and requires inputs such as clean water and nutrients, and also depends on species that are farmed. So agriculture is the cultural production of plants and animals in water. So it is the farming of fish, aquatic plants, algae, and other organisms. It helps in controlling the environments as it can increase the production of water and consequently the production of wild fish, thus increasing the yield of local fisheries. So it is the culture and harvest of aquatic animals and plants, usually for food and fiber. So aquaculture involves cultivating freshwater and saltwater populations under controlled conditions. It also supports the food chain at the lower level by producing algae and other plant organisms for animal feed. Aquaculture goes beyond the food production as the demand of seafood has increased. Although aquaculture serves many purposes, the most important one is to supply food for humans. So aquaculture is also known as water farming because it is a commercial production of fish in an enclosure or located in a body of fresh water or marine water. So in an area that is pinned off from the surrounding water by cages or open nets. So now let us proceed to the types of aquaculture. So there are four types of aquaculture, which includes mariculture, fish farming, alga culture, and open net pen and cage system. So let us first start with mariculture. So what is mariculture? Mariculture is aquaculture that involves the use of seawater. So it can either be done next to an ocean, with a section of part of the ocean, or in a ponds separate from the ocean, but containing seawater all the same. The organisms bred here ranges from the mollusks to seafood options like prawn or other shellfish and even seaweeds. So growing plants like seaweeds are also part of mariculture. So these sea plants and animal species find many uses in manufacturing industries such as in cosmetics and jewelry, where collagen from the seaweeds is used to make facial creams, and pearls are picked from mollusks and made into fashioned items. So that is mariculture. Now let us proceed to fish farming. So what is fish farming? So it is the basic type of aquaculture. It involves the selective breeding of fish either in freshwater or seawater with the purpose of producing a food source for consumption. So fish farming is highly exploited as it allows for the production of a cheap source of protein. Furthermore, fish farming is easier to do than other kinds of farming as fish are not care intensive but only requiring food and proper water condition as well as temperatures. So the process is also less land intensive as the size of ponds require to grow some fish species such as tilapia. So it is much smaller than the space required to grow the same amount of protein from the beef cattle. So that is the fish farming. So now let us proceed to alga culture. So what is alga culture? Alga culture is a type of aquaculture involving the cultivation of algae. So algae are microbial organisms that share animal and plant characteristics. They are sometimes motile. So when we say motile, it means it is capable of moving like other microbes, but they also contain chloroplasts that make them green and allow them to photosynthesize just like the green plants. So however, for economic feasibility, they have to be grown and harvested in large numbers. So algae can double their numbers every few hours and it can be harvested daily. So algae are used for various purposes and are finding many applications in today's markets as it have the potential to produce a volume of biomass and biofuel many times greater than that of our most productive crops. So biomass and biofuel is important as it helps to reduce the carbon footprint of transportation and other industries. So by making the most of our planet carbon cycle. So that is the alga culture. So now let us proceed to the open net pen and cage system. So what is open net pen and cage system? So these are often found offshore and in freshwater lakes. So mesh cages of between 6 and 60 cubic feet pens are installed in the water with the fish inside it. So with a high concentration of fish in the pens, waste, chemicals, parasites, and diseases are often exchanged in the immediate water environments. So the fish also attracts predatory animals. So predatory animals, it is bigger fish, which are often entangled in the nets. So this system uses public water. Therefore, environmental regulation and some authorization protocols must be respected. So that's all the 4 types of aquaculture. And now let us proceed to the amazing benefits of aquaculture. So studies prove that aquaculture has brought immense positive impact on the global food production industry. So the first benefit of the aquaculture is that it has a rich source of micronutrients and animal protein. So aquaculture or fish farming is considered as a great source of protein. It is a major source of cheap protein which has saved a significant proportion of the world from protein deficiency. Fish, a major product of aquaculture, provides more than 1 billion people with most of their daily animal protein needs. Fish fulfills the day-to-day necessity of animal protein to more than 1 billion people worldwide with poor resources, which is a product of aquaculture. So micronutrients found in fishes are also important for proper cognitive and physical development of children. Thus, aquaculture helps in overall development of people worldwide. So the second benefit of aquaculture is that it conserves the aquatic population. So aquaculture preserves the population of aquatic plants and organisms. It helps in preserving the population of wild aquatic plants and other organisms by averting the extinction of such species which is caused by unrestrained mistreatment. So aquaculture ensures that the populations of wild aquatic plants and animals are conserved by preventing the extinction of the various species of such plants and animals which could result from the uncontrolled exploitation. So now let us proceed to the third benefit of aquaculture, which is a nurturer of biodiversity and ecosystems. So it is another great benefit of aquaculture. So the techniques of aquaculture have resulted in the discovery of ways in which diverse aquatic organisms and plants can be coexist naturally. Thus, aquaculture helps in decreasing environmental waste and augmenting the proper functioning of the ecosystem. Um, Aquaculture techniques have led to the discovery of ways in which various aquatic organisms and plants can be made to coexist profitably, thus limiting the environmental waste levels and enhancing proper functioning of the ecosystem. So now let us proceed to the last benefit of aquaculture, which is the employment opportunities. So aquaculture brings various career opportunities. So as an emerging field of career, aqua farming will create ample job opportunities. So aquaculture is a growing field with good job prospects. So in addition to employment in fisheries, graduates may also find career opportunities in areas such as recreational fishing industry, food and agriculture-based industries, quarantine, and private consulting. So the industry requires enthusiastic and hardworking individuals. There are many opportunities to improve efficiency, use of new technologies, and substantiability throughout the supply chain. So aquaculture is also considered to be a potential source of employment for poor farmers and displaced capture fishermen. Rapid development of aquaculture has already generated considerable employment through culture of marketable fish, fish seed production, and marketing of fish and fish seed. So that would be all for my report. I will give the floor to Miss Jerica Okog for the continuation.